Hello and welcome back to Scale Bundling Cafe, and I thought I'd just do a quick video on just one or two of my favourite models in here. I'll separate them into different separate videos. Excuse me, I just itched my nose. And the first one I've chosen is the Airfix 1/48 scale Chipmunk, and it's just down here. So I'll get it out. And here it is. Just close the cabinet again. In fact, why don't we just go and sit down? Right. Sort out the camera. Sorry, it's in my phone. I'll edit all this out. There we go. Right, here we are. With my chinos. Right, okay. This little thing, the Airfix Chipmunk. Now, unfortunately, I haven't got any decent proper photos of this because this was one of the first models I made when I went to Saudi, and after COVID died down and I could fly back and get all my modelling kit out. And I didn't have any decent lighting or anything like that to take photos. And obviously this is pre-YouTube days. The reason why this is one of my favourite models is just how it's turned out, actually. It was a lot of work to get there, especially around the cowling. But as I look at the model here, I just think it's extremely well moulded by Airfix. The panel lines are very fine, very crisp. The fabric effect is just perfect. They've absolutely nailed it. The decals went down brilliantly. The way the detail has taken the wash, I don't know if you can see that. I know it's not the best camera because we are on my phone, but maybe you can see there how the wash has just been picked out by the by all that surface detail, the panel lines and the what we're calling it, the raised rivets there. And yeah, it's just a beautiful looking thing. The size is perfect. I mean, if ICM did this in 30-second scale, oh my days, that would I would miss my pants if they did a 30-second scale one of these, although I can't ever see it happening. But I think this is one of Airfix's best kits when it's finished, when it's turned out. Now, it sounds like I've got a slight caveat going on, and you'd be right, because the fit around the nose was difficult, shall we say. It was a bit of a struggle. The way the actual cowling parts are really quite thick. They fit, but they fit in a way that it's not consistent with the very fine panel lines on the rest of the airframe. So I remember I had to do a lot of filling, a lot of scribing to get that refinement. It certainly didn't click together. I also, right at the bottom, I don't know if you can see just here, the bottom edge of the cowling there, I thinned that out for a more refined look. Although, yeah, it's kind of a little bit lost, isn't it? Because it's on the underside. And the other bit I had a real trouble with was with this exhaust. I ended up scratch building a lot of that exhaust to make it a lot more refined from a bit of brass tubing and kind of grafting it onto the kit parts, and how all that came out. So I don't know if I don't know if the camera's gonna focus or anything, but yeah, that was all refined. What I have managed to do is ping off the pitot tube, which at some point I am going to have to sort out. The other negative on this kit, I would say, is the instrument decals and obviously the seat harnesses. Now, I'm severely tempted by building another one of these for the channel, doing it in the Royal Navy colours, because I actually flew the Royal Navy Historic Flight Chipmunk on a number of occasions when I was flying the Hawk out of Yeovilton. And yeah, great fun, obviously, relived all those childhood memories. But I do love it in this red and white scheme. I would love to do one in a Filton AEF. Don't know what number it was. No idea. Unfortunately, none of the decals are provided for the Filton one, because that's where I flew my air experience flying from. Just outside Bristol, obviously, with the odd F111 flying in and out, because that's where they used to do the deep maintenance on them. I actually used, in this kit, I used the Kits World 3D printed decals for the instrument panel and the seat harnesses, and unfortunately mine was slightly out of register, which is a bit of a pain. And to be honest, I'm just looking at it now, it's difficult to see in there because obviously it's a black cockpit. Now, going on from the last chat video, which was about the Qatari Spitfire and accuracy, but also they didn't provide a full engine, and that's what caused a lot of modelers to kick off, because they thought it was a lot of money for a 1/32nd scale model which didn't come with an engine. Personally, I think Qatari have done exactly the right thing. And one of the points I made in that video was I didn't necessarily like aeroplanes with or the engine exposed, because it spoils the lines of the aeroplane. And I'm going to do another one of these videos on another on another model that's in the cabinet, where I kind of contradict myself, but you have to stay tuned for that one. But you can see here what I've done with the canopy is I've just cracked it open. Now, originally I wanted to have the canopy closed, but the fit around the front wasn't that great. I don't know whether it was something I'd done or whether it was something to do with the kit, but it didn't quite, the contours didn't quite match. I know I had to, there was a fair amount of work around the nose actually, trying to fair that in, but, sorry, the windscreen, sorry. And maybe I got it slightly out. And if I don't know whether you can see, but just the angle, there we go. The angle of the canopy compared to the windscreen is just slightly out. So I came to a compromise, and I just kind of had the canopy cracked open a little bit, so that preserves the lines. And yeah, I suppose you can look in a little bit to the front seat detail, but if I'm honest, hardly anything. But what else can I say about it? Not a lot, really. It's just a lovely thing, and I think this is one of my best models. Not only is it one of my favourites and one of my favourite kits, and how refined it is, just how I've built it. You know, a lot is down to the kit, obviously, but for example, you know, around the seams, you cannot see any of the seams on it at all. Obviously it's conventional construction for this sort of thing, but you know, seams sort of down the rear fuselage here is just absolutely nothing. You know, I'm not bigging myself up. Most of it is down to the kit, but I'm just really pleased with how, you know, if you didn't know how this went together, you'd kind of struggle to know, I think, especially around the sort of the top here, and the seam lines are there, and the panel lines, etc. I think it's one of my better jobs for building, if I'm honest. And the details, so I'm saying them a lot, aren't I? Yeah, what's all that going on in the tailplane? There's a little bit of metallic stuff coming through on the tailplane here. Don't know what that's about. Maybe we just want some of the paint away with all the handling of it, because I do get this out the cabinet and have a good close look quite a lot when I'm home. So there we are. That's the first one in the series, I guess, is of some of my favourite models. And this is the little Airfix 1/48 scale Chipmunk, and I think it's a beautiful kit, a beautiful model, and yeah, it's one of my all-time favourites in the cabinet. So thanks very much for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.